Hey guys, it's Tobin. Thanks for checking out the channel. Much appreciated. If you guys could subscribe to the channel, like the channel, that would mean a lot to me. Also, Tobin and Leroy weekdays from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. live. You guys can interact with that show live on the chat. Make fun of me, do fat puns, whatever tickles your fancy. I don't know. We're just here for a good time. We're just here for laughs, everybody. Meanwhile, we continue Dame Watch. We are on 2 weeks now. I believe exactly 2 weeks since Damian Lillard officially requested a trade to the Miami Heat. Happy birthday to Dame Dollar, by the way. He turns 33 years old today. We're at a bit of a standstill right now. At least that's what the appearance is. It sounds like the Portland Trail Blazers, by all reports, aren't really engaging too much on a deal. But, we'll see what happens. Goran Dragic says something's going to happen, right, in a couple of days. This was interesting, though. Boots on the ground. Well, really, not boots on the ground. It was boots on Twitter yesterday and perusing. Just say, you got to check out the likes. It's a little bit creepy. It's a little bit dirty, but you got to check out the Twitter likes for people at this time of year. And one guy I haven't checked in on a while was Heat owner Micky Arison. And Micky Arison had on his likes a pretty interesting like, I thought, because this man has been in a lot of rumors. He seems to be at the forefront of all this Damian Lillard talk, even though the Blazers don't want him. And that's Tyler Herro. And it sounds very much like Tyler Herro, would be in some kind of deal, whether that to be to fetch more assets. I don't see a scenario or a world really where Tyler Herro sticks around and Damian Lillard is still here. But I guess it's not impossible. I mean, they could do the salaries with Kyle Lowry. It's not out of this world that could happen. But Micky Arison had liked a tweet from StatMuse, and I'll throw it up here. Got my whale pipe. And it was just a statistic. It said Tyler Herro last season, 20.1 points per game, 5.4 rebounds per game, 4.2 assists per game, shot 37.8 from three-point range, and had a 93.4 free throw percentage. Joined Larry Bird as the only players to average 20-plus points per game on that high of free throw percentage over the last 40 seasons. Pretty good. Tyler Herro in the same breath with Larry Bird in a tweet. Not too shabby for a 23-year-old. Although it is interesting. Everybody kind of treats him like a bum and thinks that he sucks. But Micky Arison liked this tweet. Now, it could be something. It could be nothing. I mean, Micky Arison could have just been perusing Twitter. Proud of Tyler Herro. Could have been perusing Twitter and be like, maybe old Tobes is going to be looking at my likes. I'll like this to make it seem like I'm not that desperate to get rid of Tyler Herro, ergo raising his trade value. Or maybe he's thinking to himself, hey, this kid's only 23 years old. I don't want to get rid of Tyler Herro. We see all these monster deals that are getting thrown all around. Maybe old Mickey looks at it and he says to himself, this guy's in the same breath as Larry Bird. I don't want to get rid of him. I don't know what it means, dude. That's why it's interesting to me that the Heat's owner is out here liking positive tweets about a guy that's supposedly in all these trade rumors. If you hear some of the report, Tyler Herro believes he's going to get traded. He's telling people that he wants to get traded. We've heard that all the over the last 2 weeks of Dame Watch, right? We see him this week. He's working out with Ben Simmons, who he's been tied to the Nets. There was a report today that said the Toronto Raptors were interested in going and getting Tyler Herro. So we have no answers. We only have more questions. And the thing is that, the more the time passes, the more questions we have, the more I think people doubt themselves. I think we're getting crazy with everything. It's like 2 weeks ago, I would have done anything to have Damian Lillard on this team outside of trading Jimmy and Bam. Seems like the perfect missing piece. Then you hear everybody disparage the Heat's package. We all think that Woj is on the take. And then now it sounds like Woj has come around on, the Heats are the only team offering for Damian Lillard. Then everybody seems to realize that Damian Lillard's going to be 37 and making $63 million. I saw Charles Barkley this week. He was, hosing down Damian Lillard. That's rich, coming from Mr. Force a Trade. I think that's hilarious coming from him. Of course you've got the Boston basketball media mafia who's out here, and anybody who's got a Celtics tie that thinks that the Heat are going to suck. If you're Paul Pierce, you think that I loved Kendrick Perkins, who was like, I think that nobody should have only one team that they could get traded to. I'm like, oh, really? That's interesting. I pretty like, who flip flops more than that guy? It's crazy. Either way, on the other side of things, Gabe Vincent, he was on the Old Man and the Three podcast. That's JJ Redick's podcast. And he had talked about the difficulty of leaving Miami, and he said it was very difficult. The relationships that I have with those guys are, to me, lifelong. Even the guys that I play with, to the staff, to the front office, I got to know all of them very well and closely, so it wasn't an easy decision. It was a huge draw to come back for sure, but it made sense for me and my family. I just couldn't make a decision. But there's no love lost. I got nothing but love for those guys over there. The continuity piece was playing a major role. Obviously, the taxes played a major role. You got to think that they get close enough to try and make it work, but it's a business for them. And it was kind of tough because they could have done it, but it would have been a big salary cap tax. So I understand it from the business side. If I could understand that, then they understand that as well. Maybe things align down the road. Until then, you just try and go get the Lake Show ring. So it even sounds like Gabe Vincent would be down for coming back to the Miami Heat, and I think that we have seen that. The guys who are real culture guys, the guys who are through and through, that door's always open, And how could you not love everything that Gabe Vincent brought to the table with this team? How could you not love everything that the guy represented as a player? How could you not love everything that the guy, was just as a character dude? From a media standpoint, always stand up, fun guy to interview, handsome dude. I mean, that dude's going to probably clean up in LA, just crazy, and I look, the facts are the facts. And this was even a joke at one point where JJ Redick's like, we don't like talking about the Heat. And Gabe Vincent goes, I noticed. And, him as a Laker, I mean, Gabe Vincent hits a couple game winners on a late night. Man, they're going to be talking about that guy like he's the next Magic Johnson, at least the next Derek Fisher. Like they are going to be praising the holy hell out of Gabe Vincent. So yeah, no love lost there. It sucks, man. It does suck. Like that. Max Strus leaving seemed very obvious. There seemed a window they were should. I mean, Pat Riley reportedly had to sit down with Gabe Vincent, and even if they would have brought in Damian Lillard, if he was the backup point guard, a reserve point guard, which is probably what he's going to be in LA to start. They'll probably go with D'Lo. But I think for him, looks at this, probably looks at this and is like, I'll get my opportunities. He'll get his opportunities, and you'll probably end up wanting to close with a guy like Gabe Vincent. He's onions. He's onions, man. He also said to the Miami Herald's Anthony Chang, he says, Miami means the world to me. I will forever have a special place in my heart. And I hope that they know that. It's been expressed. I hope the city knows that I gave all that I had. Unfortunately, we fell short this past season. But being along for the ride and competing with those guys, it meant the world. I will miss my teammates, to be honest. Obviously, the weather as well. I'm sure it's incredibly hot right now, but I'll miss it for sure. I miss those guys. I'll see them. I've still been in touch with them. I'm looking forward to it. I'll be going to Max Strus's camp, even though he's no longer with them. We're going to do a good job of staying in touch. So some pretty awesome words there from Gabe Vincent. And, it is unfortunate that business kind of got in the way there. But, for him, in a comfort standpoint, and I got to be honest with you, I don't know, I'm not like a cap guru, and I don't know what the other offers were out there. But I will tell you, I've seen other guys get paid this offseason that I think Gabe Vincent's a lot better than, and I feel like he is on a bargain deal. So, good for him. He's in this, I hope that he enjoys being back home, but I do feel like, man, nobody wanted to pay that guy a little bit more money. And I include the Heat on that regard. I get it. Like the Heat were not going to break the bank for him. They were going to kind of see if they could get a Heat culture discount. They did not. And I think as far as guys to replace, he's probably, if they don't get Damian Lillard, I think that's probably going to be the hardest thing to replace, because you look at this summer league, Bouyer's looked nice. But that's still a void. I mean, I think that, Strus isn't that big. Let's just say there was no Damian Lillard. Strus, not that big a deal because Tyler Herro's back at the starting lineup. But, I guess you could essentially run it back. Like, it's just say no Damian Lillard. You could start Kyle Lowry, I guess, and see where things go from there. So it's not like crippling, but they need to make this thing happen. I do think that there is a little bit of a time crunch, whereas with Portland, their time crunch is kind of awkwardness because they're rebuilding. What do they want Damian Lillard there for? They're not trying to compete for anything. But for Miami, this has all kind of been in the ether. It was very noticeable you did put all your eggs in this basket. I don't buy, there was an article from Sam Amick where he's like, oh, the Heat, they missed out on free agents. It's not that, but I do think that Tyler Herro probably wants answers. I do think that this team probably wants to know what are they going to look like going to it. Kyle Lowry, I'm sure he wants to know what's his role going to be. So I think that's going to be the interesting part of this is you get to September and Summer League's over now. And Jaime Jaquez, one of the disappointments, he was, injured with his shoulder. Jovic is going to go play with Serbia. So I think that's kind of cool. He had he played really well in the games that he played. Orlando Robinson looks like he's ready for a big role this year. Haywood Highsmith can step up a little bit more, especially if you don't have Caleb Martin. If Caleb Martin has to go away in a trade. So I do think there are mechanisms where, like, if there's a move here, there's a backup plan for the Heat, a pretty good one. But that guard spot, if they don't get Damian Lillard, I don't know what they do at point guard. That's going to be a very, very interesting question. And, I think right now their hope is that Joe Cronin, stops being a big baby and, puts his big boy pants on and goes to the table to start making some deals. But, maybe he just likes Dame Watch, going out week 2. What's another week to Joe Cronin?